Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. Week 2 is done, and holy shit was it entertaining. I'm just going to say a certain someone is currently leading the league in passing yards and tied for the league in touchdowns. Not sure who it could be, but it's Tua. We all know it's Tua. He played great. It was fantastic. There was a lot of surprising games this week, a lot of stinkers of games, some teams looking brutal, way worse than I expected coming into the year. We'll get into all of that this week. I have Moub Yusuf on, noted Panthers fan. It's been tough for them. Oh, they look bad. So we get into it with him. We recap week 2. We go over our week 3 pick'em picks. I unfortunately lost last week, and I haven't been mentioning so far the loser of each pick'em contest. The loser donates $20 to the Door Youth Center here in Ottawa. Goes to a good cause instead of just giving it to each other. Rather help out the kids, because we're those type of people here at the Cover Zero podcast. With that being said, let's get to my interview. No, I guess, let's just get to the week 2 recap and pick 'em with Moub. I now would like to welcome on my next guest. I've known him for a few years now, a couple fantasy leagues, just played some nice summer baseball with him. Great season, but he's a Panthers fan, and holy shit has he been going through it. So, Moub, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate for having me on. I wanted to be there for, the week 1 predictions and all that stuff and, the awards, but it is what it is. I'll take what I can get.
Well, I'm happy to have you on here because, Panthers looking pretty damn bad so far. So we'll get into that. But for now, I guess let's start with last night's games. Start with the Titans and the Bills. The Bills just kicked the shit out of the Titans. It was a slaughter.
Yeah, that was going into last night's game, I thought that it was going to be a rout. And because I knew it was going to be a rout, this is kind of, a little thing that we did I tweeted this actually before the game, the night before. So I saw on Twitter someone made a Justin Fields hater parlay, which is basically taking the under on every single statistical category. And I said, I'm going to do the same thing for Ryan Tannehill. And I was trolling, and it ended up hitting. So it was kind of fun. It was worse than I thought it would be. Much worse. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking before the game, being like, I don't know, Derrick Henry, like he looked good against them last year. The defense could still be tough. 10 points is a lot of points, but the Titans stink. I should have stuck with what I knew, but the Bills are who we think they are. The Bills are fantastic.
Yeah, they might be the best team in football right now. Actually, I don't think it's a might. I would think you'd have a hard time arguing against them being the best team in football right now. Some would have argued that they were the best team in football last year, and they got stronger, adding, Von Miller. They're the team to beat in my eyes right now in the AFC, but we'll see. They'll probably continue kicking on those crappy teams like the Titans for the foreseeable future, a couple of weeks to come. But yeah, that was brutal. Tough watch.
Oh yeah, it was very bad. Moving on to the later Monday night game, Vikings versus Eagles. Eagles 24, Vikings 7. Kirk Cousins in primetime. What can you expect? He played like shit. The Eagles looked really good. Jalen Hurts, MVP candidate at this point. But I'm buying into the Eagles. I like the Eagles a hell of a lot right now. What about you?
Yeah, honestly, we might have seen the 2 best teams in football yesterday. So last night we might have seen the best team in the NFC and the best team in the AFC. I know that might be a hot take saying that the Eagles might be the second best team in football, but I don't think it's a hot take to say that they're the best team in the NFC right now. If you see what the Bucks are going through and the Packers, it's really not a hot take at all. They're really good.
And that's the thing with the Eagles too. Like, it was going into the year, they have this really good roster, but is Jalen Hurts the guy? Jalen Hurts through 2 weeks so far has looked the part. He has been fantastic. He has made that jump to potentially top 10 quarterback. I still think it's early, but he's a top 5 MVP candidate right now. And if this is the way the Eagles are going, yeah, they're probably going to be a Super Bowl contender easily.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. If you look at where he's come from his first year at Alabama to where he is now, he's gotten better every single year. He's one of those guys that you kind of just have to bet on. If you told me this 3 years ago that he would be the starting QB on one of the best teams in football, I would have called you crazy. I would have, said a bunch of other things, but yeah, it's unbelievable. It wouldn't honestly surprise me if he did take that leap into top 10 QB status.
Yeah, no, it's been good. Eagles are looking good. So now we'll go all the way back. Thursday night football, Chargers versus Chiefs. Chiefs 27, Chargers 24. This was, it was a great game. Pat Mahomes had his moments. He also had his, what are you doing? He got saved a couple times. Herbert couldn't come up in the clutch. Terrible pick 6. What did you think?
Yeah, so that game was kind of you have these moments with Patrick Mahomes where he was throwing up prayers would actually be a nice way of putting them. But yeah, that game, what really stood out to me, other than the pick 6 and Mahomes, dropped interception by Asante Samuel Jr. was honestly it was Brendan Staley. He was being super conservative, which is odd to say because this was the same guy in a winner go home game last year, week 18, that was going for it on 4th down in his own 20. I think there was 3 different.
Finally got one.
I think there was like 3 different possessions where they had the ball in Kansas City territory on 4th and 2nd, where they either kicked the field goal or they punted the ball. And if you have a guy like Justin Herbert, who's athletic, make all the plays, that's kind of a head scratcher. So I don't know what's going on. He's kind of like yin and yang this season between conservative and hyper aggressive. So I don't know.
I feel like he's definitely in his head a little bit with it right now. Like, again, like you said, they have Justin Herbert on those calls. You trust him instead of trying to pin them back deep. You go for those points. My main takeaway from this game was the Chargers lost the game and the refs saved Pat Mahomes. The Chargers looked like the better team. The Chiefs are 2-0. They beat them, but if this Chargers team gets healthy, I mean, Keenan Allen was out for the game. J.C. Jackson just came back. He didn't look too good, but this is a Chargers team that definitely will contend for the AFC West, and I don't think the Chiefs are a lock to be that division champ anymore.
Yeah, I don't see how you can walk away from that game as a Chiefs fan feeling too good about what happened. Like you're on your home field. The game is almost pretty much handed to you on a silver plate. Like I don't know what was going on, with the Chargers. They were just charging in the second half, pick 6, and then after that, the next drive, Herbert, I don't know what he was doing, kind of throwing the ball over the field, and then he got hurt too. So I mean, you kind of everything that you needed to go well for you to like win the game happened, and you won. But yeah, it's definitely not a lock. As of right now, I'd still take the Chiefs to come out on top of the division. But man, that gap has closed significantly over the last couple of years.
100%. Moving up to the Sunday 1:00 slate, we'll start with the Patriots versus Steelers, 17-14 Patriots. This game stunk. This game was boring. One throw by Mac Jones and Nelson Aguilar mossing some guy. Secret agent Gunnar Olszewski fumbling that punt. Nothing. This game was boring. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a Mitch Trubisky start, regardless of whatever team he's going against, you're likely gonna be in for a snooze fest. We're getting Kenny Pickett chance, like I think even before halftime or something. So that's how bad it was. Like I don't know if he's gonna hold on to the starting job any longer. I'm not sure what the goal is because he is already like an older rookie. So it's a little weird what's going on. The Patriots, nice bounce back win, but other than that, not much to say about this game. Kind of a snooze fest.
Yeah, and we can move on from it because, again, who really cares? Again, and TJ Watt wasn't playing.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Well, we can go to the Panthers versus the Giants. Giants 19, Panthers 16. Have the floor. Go for it.
So, I was getting ready for the game, the 1 o'clock game. I got like some nice beverages, and I made the whole setup. I was getting ready to sit down on my couch, turned on the TV. 1 o'clock, the game start. I think at 1:01, 1 minute and into the game, we fumbled the ball, and at that point, I was like, on the opening kickoff return of the game, and then at that point, I was like, I need a cigarette right now. And and guess what? The next time we get the ball, we fumbled again. So they got 6 points basically 5 minutes into the game. We were down. We ended up catching up and lose on a field goal. I don't know. This team is gonna be frustrating this entire season. I don't know how long Matt Rule has left. I'd
He
probably
needs to be
guess
gone.
another 2-3 games.
Like, yeah, I think you guys are going to play the Saints this week. You're going to lose, I think, probably by a lot. And he needs to be gone. He's shown nothing. And I read like a Twitter thread the other day that his defensive coordinator is at his hip, who is also a moron. You guys are too talented of a roster to be that bad of a team right now. I don't get it. It's tough to watch.
It is. It's like I saw another tweet that was from a Panthers beat reporter, and he said the Panthers haven't forced a takeaway all season. They're playing against. Luckily for them, they're playing against Jameis Winston, so they can expect to get a takeaway. And I said, well, we just played Daniel Jones. If there was
Yeah.
anyone other than Jameis Winston that you can expect to just give you the ball, it's Daniel Jones. And we didn't even come close to getting a takeaway. I don't know
No.
this team is poorly coached. It's poorly run. The owner's in over his head. It's hard to have any type of faith in the organization right now. They need to hit a big rebuild, but I mean, I'm not sure this is already the rebuild. So
Yeah.
something's got to change. I don't know, like if you could force an owner to sell a team within 5 years, I'd be down for that. But it's getting tough to watch. We're the clown show of the league. 9 consecutive losses right now, currently the longest losing streak in the NFL, and 2-16 since starting off 3-0 last year. So
Oh
great.
man,
It's very sharp right now.
that's so bad. I will give the Giants some sort of props. I didn't think much of them. They're now 2-0. Haven't really played anyone, but they're 2-0. It's fine. I think Brian Dable's a pretty good coach given what he's working with, but we'll move on to Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Saints. Bucks 20, Saints 10. Again, another boring game that first half. Then there was a fight, and then suddenly the Saints' best corner is out of the game, and now Brady can move the ball.
Yeah, don't let the final score fool you. That game was a snooze fest for the better parts of 3 quarters. The Bucks couldn't move the ball to save their life, and this is even when Mike Evans was playing. I don't know how much Chris Godwin. I mean, he did miss the playoffs last year, and they looked okay. So I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's change in head coach or Brady being gone during preseason. I don't know what's going on in the offense. To be fair, the offensive line ravaged by retirements and injury early on, but
Yeah,
they're not looking good. I know they got Tom Brady. I know they got weapons on offense, but it's hard to look at this team and think, hey, this is a Super Bowl winning team. It's really didn't look great at all.
No, 100%. And Jameis ended up playing like Jameis, had some awful picks to end the game. Yeah, again, boring game at the start, ended but next game ended fairly excitingly, but the Jets versus the Browns. Jets 31, Browns 30. I'm so happy the Browns lost this game. Like they deserve nothing this season. I hope that fuck, I gotta fly on my camera. Get the fuck out. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the Jets somehow managed to do it. Joe Flacco pulled something out of his ass, but craziness at the end of that game.
Yeah, I honestly so what ended up happening, I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago, it might have been last year, where Chubb was running and then he stopped right in front of the goal line, and everyone said, "Hey, why don't you just run it in?" And all the fantasy people got so mad.
Yeah.
But then he actually did run it in this weekend, and what ended up happening is, they gave the ball right back to the Jets, blew a 13-point lead in a minute and 55. So, and maybe he was right. Maybe he should have just stopped in front of the goal line and let out like the rest of the clock. But yeah, the Browns, they deserve everything that they're going to get this season.
Yeah.
No empathy for that team, the ownership. I feel bad for the fans. Obviously, they don't deserve it, but the Browns are going to Brown eventually. So that was
I mean, I'd say a few fans probably deserve it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that little massage thing that they put on at the tailgate.
That was fucking despicable fan base.
Funny enough, this is actually the first time that a team has blown a 13-plus point lead inside of 2 minutes since the Browns did it back in 2001. So congratulations, Browns! You guys never change.
They're always topping themselves. Next game up, we have the best game of last Sunday. It was amazing to watch. Some of the best football I've watched in God knows how long. Dolphins 42, Ravens 38. I'm just going to take this one from the top. The Dolphins are here. That offense was incredible. That is everything I expected. The Legion of Zoom, aptly named, Waddle and Tyreek. It was so impressive to watch. Waddle and Tyreek combined 22 catches, 362 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And Tua in that second half, holy fuck. It was incredible. If you would have told me at the start of the game, Lamar would have had his game where he looked like an MVP, 300 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, a long rushing touchdown, it would have been, game over. We would have lost that game. And he would have been the second best quarterback. Nah, Tua played out of his mind. It was amazing. It was his coming out party. I loved every minute of it. I'll let you talk.
Yeah, so that game, you're right, it was the best game of week 2 by far. I didn't even think it was close. It started off with a 103-yard return touchdown and ended with a touchdown to end the game. So you don't get that type of action very often. Definitely, I know it's only week 2, but that's definitely going to come up for a game of the year conversation towards the end of the year. But yeah, that was really impressive. For one, Tua could have mailed it in easily. He had, I think, 2 interceptions early on in the game, and then battled his way back. I know people could say, hey, well, Tyreek's, running down the field naked. You get him every time, but it's really not that easy. He was hitting them right in stride. I know some people are gonna say, oh, they were slowing down, catch everything. I mean, not really. So once the end zone is there, what are you gonna do? They're gonna outrun the pass or anything. So
like that first long ball to Tyreek was a 50-yard or 55-yard 55 yards in the air. Like that, not many quarterbacks make those throws. I don't even think Pat Mahomes had a 55-plus air yard throw last season. So, yeah. And I mean, Tyreek, yeah, he runs super fast. Of course, he's going to slow down for the football, especially when no one is around him. It's, yeah. I'm super excited for what's left for the rest of the Dolphins season now. It's, yeah, I have high hopes now, especially the way the rest of the AFC is shaping up right now, where Some teams definitely not looking too good right now. We're one of the better teams right now through 2 weeks. It's through 2 weeks, but I'm really happy right now as a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, the next game coming up on the schedule is going to be a big one, and
Yep.
you got the Bills, and we'll see if that's going to be definitely the measuring stick in the AFC for sure. If you
Mm-hmm.
guys could compete with them or actually or even beat them, it's going to
Yeah.
definitely put the rest of the AFC on notice.
Yeah. And I will say the Ravens did score 38 points. They played really well. They just got outplayed in that fourth quarter, and that's what it came down to. I think that Lamar is probably second for favorite in the MVP right now, probably behind Josh Allen. But yeah, the Ravens are still good. The Dolphins were just better. That's all you can really say about that. Next up, the Detroit Lions versus the Washington Commanders. Lions 36, Commanders 27. Carson Wentz had another Carson Wentz game. They had 2 first downs in the first half, and Carson Wentz had 4 touchdowns in the second half. He doubled touchdowns that he had first. Either way, very Carson Wentz type game. The Commanders, who cares? They played how they played. The Lions, this looked like a top 5 offense. They did whatever they wanted. 36 points is really impressive. Any thoughts?
Yeah, this Lions team, when they hired Dan Campbell, he just gives off that bro energy, that frat boy type of, and then you start thinking, well, you know what, it's gonna be cool, it's gonna make for some nice clips, but I'm gonna have a hard time believing that they're gonna win anything. Year
Mm-hmm.
2 into this head coaching regime, and they're looking great so far through 2 games. I mean, you got Jared Goff for, I mean, basically what they, it was like a salary dump you got him for, and now you're winning games. You get Amon-Ra St. Brown, absolute wide receiver one. He's gonna probably be a top 10 wide receiver fantasy, wide receiver in fantasy this year. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and DeAndre Swift. Yeah, they're looking good. I'd still say they're a year too early to go to the playoffs, but the future is definitely looking bright in Detroit.
Yeah, it's one of those games where they looked really good. They did play the Commanders, so it's kind of congrats, you beat a team that you should have beat. But yeah, with Dan Campbell, the guys just fucking love him. He loves his team so much. He loves this game so much, and the guys, they see that and they feel that, and they want to play their asses off for him. And he's slowly becoming one of my favorite coaches. Hard Knocks really sold me this past summer, but I'm a big Lions fan. They just need a quarterback that's not named Jared Goff, and sky's the limit for that team. But we'll move on to last game on the 1:00 slate here. Colts versus Jags. Colts 0, Jags 21. Take it away, Moub.
So my first takeaway from that game is Matt Ryan needs to go be a family man. I think he really needs to hang it up. That team is a disaster. Frank Reich, he came from Philadelphia as like, especially even with the first year with Andrew Luck, where he's just like the most lovable coach in the NFL. He's turned around the Colts, won a champ. He made Carson Wentz look good. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, this guy is amazing," yada yada. And now he's like, I think the 3rd betting odds favorite to get fired this year. So yeah, I don't know if he's going to survive the season. Matt Ryan should definitely. I mean, he's looking worse than Philip Rivers did, and Philip Rivers I think might have been older. So yeah, he should hang it up at the end of the season. Michael Pittman wasn't playing, but even then, I don't know if he's going to account for 24 points, but.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, if you were a Colts fan right now, would you rather have Matt Ryan or would you have Carson Wentz?
You know what? At this point, tanking doesn't sound too bad. Give me whoever's a second string QB. I have no clue, but
start Sam Ellinger. There we go.
Sam Ellinger.
Yeah. And Trevor Lawrence, he looked fantastic. He looked that generational prospect, number 1 overall pick. Christian Kirk had a hell of a game too. He's definitely worth that money that they're paying him to be the wide receiver one there. The Jags are going to be frisky all year. Right now they're leading that division. Don't think they'll finish it off. I still think that the Colts are going to win this division. I think that once Shaq Leonard does get back on the defense, they'll be better. But it's so fucking bad. Like you can't not put up any points in a football game. It's just embarrassing.
Especially against I don't care how good or how many young players or young talent that the Jaguars have. There's just no reason to put up a goose egg against them.
No, not at all. Moving on to the afternoon slate. Falcons Rams. Rams 31, Falcons 27. The Falcons almost came back 28-3. That would have been something, but the Rams are weird. I still think that the Rams are like a good team, but they got shit kicked by a really good team last week, and the Falcons are weirdly good, maybe. I don't know, but Matt Stafford just throws bad picks. That's kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, I mean, he's always been a pretty high interception guy, but he's always got the benefit of doubt. You know, when you're in the Lions, you're going to throw picks. Last year, I think he led the NFL in interceptions, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
This year, you know, he kind of has that Mahomes in him as well, where he's going to throw some you know, no look passes or just passes that people should not throw. And sometimes it's going to end up in the receiver's hands, sometimes going to end up in the DB's hands. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. With the Falcons, I mean, Kyle Pitts is a ghost, which is crazy, but they're hanging around in games. They've put up points both weeks against two teams that I think will still be in the playoffs. So I think the Falcons are just going to be annoying this season. And you can't really predict what they're going to do week to week, but they'll be there.
And the Kyle Pitts situation, as someone who has Kyle Pitts in fantasy, very disappointing. It's a little too early to start using the B word for him, but let's just say he was drafted ahead of guys like Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle. And I think if they redid that, you know, he wouldn't. So, yeah, it's not great.
No, not at all. Next game up. This game had a lot of potential for me at the start. 49ers, Seahawks, Niners 27, Seahawks 7. Trey Lance now out for the year. Busted ankle. That sucks. Like, I now like I had the Niners as a Super Bowl. They were going to make it to the Super Bowl in the NFC. Now they have Jimmy G and they're back to square one, and this team does nothing for me anymore because I know that they're not going to win it all because they have Jimmy G at quarterback.
Yeah, I don't. So this whole thing with the Jimmy G and Trey Lance. I know there's been a lot of drama between, you know, this, like, which QB's better. To me, it was always give Trey Lance a chance, and he's like your home run swing. Either he's not gonna pan out and he's gonna be bad because he's a very like hit or miss type of quarterback prospect when he came out. Either he's gonna be the one that takes you to the promised land, or he's gonna, you know, fail. But at least you took the chance. Jimmy G, you know what you're getting. You know that you're gonna make the playoffs. You know that he's gonna throw 140 yards and an interception in a playoff game, but still win. But it is what it is. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. We've seen that. His career average in the playoffs, I thought it would be much better. Well, I mean, not really, but 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 160 yards per game.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's not a good quarterback. Like he's a bottom tier game manager. He's still like a starting level quarterback in the league, but he's probably Mitch Trubisky if he was on the Steelers, maybe a little better, but he's not a good quarterback. And I hate when certain people have him as a top 15 quarterback somehow still.
Yeah,
but
in the league, I don't know. That doesn't look good.
But and with the Seahawks, their only points of the day came off a defensive turnover. So
It wasn't a good game. It was a
they're
very
bad.
tough watch. Yeah.
They're bad. Uh speaking of bad games, Broncos versus Texans. Broncos 16, Texans 9. I'll let you start because you are a known Russ hater.
Yeah, so I was the first one to jump on this bandwagon, and how it really started was uh, there was a rivalry like 5 6 years ago between the Panthers and the Seahawks, because it seemed like they played each other every single year for like 7 years straight, and a couple times in the
Yeah,
playoffs too.
yeah,
So, but yeah, and then after a while, I started realizing, I was like, you know what? There's certain things that Russ does that people don't realize yet, but they should. But anyway, so this Broncos offense has no reason, absolutely zero, to not be a top five, top 10 offensive league at minimum. But they're looking terrible. Russ was getting booed in the first half, his first home game as a Denver Bronco. Yeah, I wrote this down here. He started the game off 6 for 20, which is atrocious. Nathaniel Hackett should not be an NFL head coach, at least not yet. It's looking like that. There was this one play that kind of summed up the entire Broncos offense. So on this was 4 minute mark of the third quarter, they're down 9-6. 3rd and 1 at the Texans 35, and he runs a tight end pitch. He pitched the ball to the tight end, and
yep,
not okay. Let's just say it lost. It lost. It was -1, and then
yeah,
they brought the field goal unit out too late. Took a penalty. Now they're punting the ball instead of, who knows, you give it to Javonte Williams, you get the first down. But the coaching staff, the quarterback, everything is just a mess right now. They're kind of in the early stages of it, so maybe we want to give them benefit of the doubt. I won't, but who knows?
yeah. Like I had the Broncos as I thought the Broncos were going to win the AFC West. That's definitely not going to happen now. But I don't know. Yeah, again, Hackett has been in his own head since game one. He's made mistake after mistake. The Broncos team just looks unfocused. They're getting penalized a ton. It's been bad. They should be 2-0 at this point, and they've struggled against really bad teams so far. It has not looked good. Hopefully it gets better. I still I still believe that the offense will get better. The defense is still not allowed 20 plus points in a game so far, so that's a bonus, but yeah, it's not looking good right now for the Broncos, that's for sure.
They played the Bills. They might have. I don't even want to know how that game's gonna look like.
That's like, and they do play the Niners this week. That'll be a huge game to see what kind of caliber team they actually are. They need to come out of, they need to play that game close, 100%. Next game up, Cardinals Raiders. Cardinals 29, Raiders 23. I didn't get to watch a ton of this game. I was at a family dinner. I saw the highlights though, and my conclusion, both these teams stink. Simple as that. The Raiders, I don't know how you let Kyler scramble around for, apparently that 2-point convert ended up being Kyler ran for 84 yards. He's playing backyard football, and it's ridiculous that Kyler is able to do that. I think Kyler's fantastic, but you can't do that in a fucking NFL game. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I just think both these teams suck at the end of the day, and who cares?
Yeah, the Cardinals. I don't know what to make of both these teams. I don't know if it's too early to say that the Cardinals aren't going to make the playoffs or they're going to be garbage. But the thing is, it's not looking great. And the Raiders just blew, what was it, 23-7 lead with 9 minutes left. They let
Yep.
Kyler run around like, the badass toddler that he is whenever he tries to run around. But yeah, that game was a mess. The two fumbles by Hunter Renfro in the overtime, and then you
He killed
have
them.
Byron Murphy returning it, and then he dropped it what it looked like right before the end zone. That could have been a disaster. Yeah. So this game
Almost
was a
Deshaun
mess.
Jackson. Yeah. Oh, that
Yeah,
would have been
both these
hilarious.
teams. I don't know what to make of them just yet, but not looking great so far.
Like, I have both of them not making the playoffs. I still think that, like, they're too talented on, like, both of the rosters are too talented to be bad teams, but I don't think that they're good enough to make playoffs at this point. But I guess we'll see. It's still super early. God, speaking of teams that are way below expectations right now, Bengals versus Cowboys. Bengals 17, Cowboys 20. What the fuck are the Bengals this year? The Bengals have lost to Cooper Rush and Mitch Trubisky. They were in the Super Bowl last year. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. That was my big hot take. They just suck right now. I don't know what the hell this offense is. The offensive line should be much better than last year. It's worse, arguably. I don't get it. Even with a below average offensive line, the weapons on that team should be, they're so good where it shouldn't matter. People should be open immediately. And nothing has happened with this team. And the Cowboys, they have a really good defense. That's about it.
Yeah. The Bengals, they got some new guys. They have this new O-line unit, but it's ass. Like last year's team offense line, it's ass, but it's just a different cheek this time. Same
Yep.
ass, just different cheek. They're just it's not a very good offensive line. Uh, Joe Burrow doesn't help. He does take a few sacks from time to time that aren't ideal.
No. Yeah.
But yeah,
100%.
that team, like you said, with the weapons they have, it shouldn't matter. You should get the ball into Jamar Chase's hands, to T Higgins, to Joe Mixon. Someone on that team's gonna make a play. You just have to pick and choose who you want to give the ball to.
And you want to talk about a get right game for the Bengals? They play the Jets this week. If they need to come away with a decisive win, or else, the rumors are going to be bad. It's going to be
you can't lose to Joe Flacco in the year of 2022.
That is a.
And if they do lose to the Jets and Joe Flacco in 2022, I fear that Jeremy Lin Joe Burrow comparison is going to be a little too accurate.
That would be, yeah. Fuck, I saw your tweet where the Joe Burrow documentary next with the Lin. Yeah, I'm just saying, could Tua be the best quarterback drafted in the 2020 class? I don't know. Last week he was. I guess we'll see.
We'll have to see. I know Tom's not gonna like hearing that, but
Tom,
that comparison's not over yet.
One of them's a winner. I will just say that.
Yeah.
Last game of the slate, Sunday Night Football. Bears, Packers. Packers 27, Bears 10. This game went exactly how you would expect. The Bears were never in this game. Didn't matter how close they actually were. They were never in this game. I'm just going to read Justin Fields' stat line for this game. 7 for 11, 70 yards, and an interception. He threw the ball 11 times. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think he's thrown the ball 28 total times this season, and no passing touchdowns yet. They had 48 net yards of passing offense this passing. 48 net yards of passing offense. That is atrocious.
Also, I just looked it up. Guess how many yards Darnell Mooney has right now?
It can't be more than 60, 65.
4. He had 4 yards. This guy was getting talked up in the offseason of a top 20 wide receiver. This man has 4 yards in 2 games. He has 2 catches in 2 games. Like,
so 4 more yards,
goddamn,
2 more receptions than Cole Kmet this year. And I have him in 2 leagues, so it's not looking great.
Yeah, Cole Kmet also fucking stinks. One bright spot, David Montgomery looked really good, but the Bears are who we thought they were. Thank you.
It
Was that Mike
honestly,
Ditka?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It might
No, no,
be the same.
no.
What's that?
Who was that?
But the running back?
No, that coach. The Bears are who we thought they were, and we let them
Oh,
off the hook.
Dennis Greener or something like that.
Yes, that's okay. There we go.
But yeah, the so my two takeaways from this game, really, if I would have to sum it up, because I don't, we don't care about what the Bears are doing. They're, their own
No,
stuff. But the Packers'
irrelevant.
run
Yep.
defense did not look good. You're giving
No.
up 115 yards to Montgomery on, I think it might have been like 13 or 12 carries, something like that. Like they were just getting
Yeah.
bashed on the ground. He sits out for a play. I think it was Montgomery ran for 29 yards. He sits out for a play. Khalil Herbert comes in, runs for 27 yards. Like if you want to compete in the NFC, you just can't be giving up 25-yard runs to a team that has a poor offensive line and a bunch of average running backs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and last but not least, please, please, Roger Goodell, I'm on my hands and knees. Do not schedule any more Bears Sunday Night Football games. This is the
Oh,
same thing year
I,
after year. Put these guys in the London game at like 9 a.m. where no one can watch them. Have the Europeans deal with that crap. I don't want to watch it. Put them on IG, Instagram Live, ESPN Deportes. I don't care. I just don't want to see it on my screen. It's getting
yeah.
ridiculous.
It's honestly, yeah, it's fair. The Packers, on the other hand, Rogers did Rogers things, 19 for 25, 234 yards, 2 TDs. The running game finally came alive for them. Aaron Jones looked fantastic too. He averaged 8.8 yards per carry. This is kind of who I want the Packers to be. I want Rodgers to be super efficient, and I want them to run the fuck out of the ball. I hope this is their model going forward, because when you're relying on Sammy Watkins to have 2014 Sammy Watkins type plays, I don't think that's consistent.
No, I mentioned 2000. I said you can't lose to Joe Flacco in 2022. You can't
Yeah,
rely on Randall Cobb and Sammy Watkins in the year 2022 as well. So
ain't that a
yeah,
damn fact? But okay, that does it for the week 2 recap. We can move right along to the Pick'em contest. I lost last week by 1 pick. Fucking Vikings Monday Night Football. I completely forgot that was a Monday Night Football game and Kirk Cousins was going to be in prime time. I'm an idiot. Yeah, but for those new listeners, if I do have any, how it works, we're going to give fave spread, dog spread, over, under, and a money line dog. We'll alternate picks going back and forth. Can't pick from the same games. As my guest, I'll give you the honor of going first. So the board is yours.
thank you. So my first game, I will be picking the Bengals as a road favorite at -4.5.
Yep.
It's like you said earlier, it's a must win. It's a get right game. I pray that they don't lose this game because it's gonna get really bad on Twitter and
Mhm.
on talk shows and stuff like that in that instancy. So they have to -4.5.
Yeah, that's, again, I have that on my board. We talked about it a little bit already. If the Bengals don't cover that spread, I don't care if they win by, I don't care if they win and it's by 2. They need to beat this Jets team handily for me to be, oh yeah, the Bengals are a good team. If this is a close game to the Jets, the Bengals are done. Bye-bye. I don't care anymore. The hype is over. The hype is dead. I'm going to go with my money line dog because I didn't like a lot of them. I'm taking the Packers over the Bucks straight up. This is a hurt Bucks team right now. Mike Evans is going to be suspended. Godwin's probably doubtful. Julio might play. The offensive line is banged up. I also still really like the Packers. I think that if they can get it going, they can definitely win this game. I think this is going to be a tough, grinded out game on defense, but I think that the Packers are going to win.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a game won and lost in the trenches. So we'll see. I don't expect there to be the ball flying all around the yard. So we'll see. I think in the low scoring game that'll probably favor the Packers a little bit more because they don't have anyone really on the outside that you can rely on. So
No.
definitely good pick right there.
Mm-hmm. You are back up.
All right. So this next one, I will be going with the under. My under pick is the Thursday night game between the Steelers and the Browns. To
You're brave.
nobody's surprise, you get Mitch Trubisky on one side of the ball and Jacoby Brissett on the other side of the ball. You're not going to see the ball get in the end zone very much. I think it's more likely that we see uh, multiple defensive touchdowns than we do multiple offensive touchdowns. So unless that happens, I don't see the over hitting at all. I got it at 38 and a half.
38 and a half. Not a lot of points.
No, I would take it if it was 31 and a half. That's how bad these quarterbacks are.
It's, yeah, like, yeah, this Thursday night game is going to be, I'm actually happy that I'm going to be able to get a good night of sleep going into Friday because I will be going to bed at half for that game. Okay. Next up, I'm going to go with my over. I'm going to go over 40 and a half Bears Texans. I think this is just a case. There's people on both offenses here. I still think Justin Fields is something at this point. We'll see. We said before that David Montgomery, he's looked great. On the other side, Davis Mills is pretty good. Maybe. Brandon Cooks is still there. Damian Pierce, hopefully he does something. But Texans and Bears defenses are both ass. They are both bad. So I'm expecting two bad teams to play and the offenses to just be slightly better than the really bad defenses. And 40 and a half, it's a low number. If it's 20 to 21, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, the Bears were getting gashed on the ground by the Packers, so maybe Damian Pierce can get it going. So I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out to be 23 to 20 or 24 to 20, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for my next pick, this is going to be my underdog spread, and it is going to be the Commanders at home versus the Eagles +7. And I know that I said the
+7
Eagles,
now?
+7, yeah. I know
God
I said
damn.
the Eagles are probably the best team in the NFC, but these divisional games are always tight. Doesn't matter who's playing, especially in the NFC East. If you watch these games throughout the years, you see the Cowboys. They might have a 12-4 season, and they're playing against a 5-win Giants team, and that game goes down to the final kick. So 7.5 as a home dog, that's way too many points for me. So I'll take that, and if they get blown out of the water, I'll take that. I expect the Commanders to put up some points. So 7's a good number.
Yeah, when I was doing my prep this morning for this, I wake up early for work. I was checking the lines at like 7 a.m. That line opened at Eagles +4.5. I saw that. I'm like, or Eagles -4.5. Sorry. I looked at that. I'm like, that's going to be my number. And then as I kept checking throughout the day, that number just kept getting higher and higher. So the fact that that's at +7 right now, I think it's probably going to get even higher by Sunday. But yeah, it's always tough in divisional games. I like the pick at that number, honestly. Okay, next up, I'll take my spread favorite, and I'm going to take the Ravens -3. Yes, that's still the number. Ravens -3 versus the Patriots. Pats home opener. I don't think the Pats are very good. I don't think they've really been tested. That week 1 versus Miami's offense clearly did not look as in sync as it did versus the Ravens. I still think the Ravens are a Super Bowl contending team. I think Lamar Jackson is a top 5 quarterback easily. And yeah, I just think the Ravens are overall just a better team than the Patriots. The Patriots are not a good team this year.
Yeah, the Patriots are. Whenever you have Matt Patricia, you have to choose between Matt Patricia and Joe Judge calling offensive plays for you. You know it's going to be a pretty rough season. So whenever you get a team like the Ravens coming in, they just lost a real like nail biter. So I'd expect them to come out real hungry, try to avenge that loss, and spoil a couple of that season opener for the Patriots.
Well, because that's the thing. The Patriots aren't going to score more than 20 points. So do you think that the Ravens will score more than 20 points? Probably. So I think -3 is a good number there.
Yeah, sure. Now I'm going to move on to my over pick, and I know this number is insane, but if you watch both of these teams this past week, you'll completely understand. I have the over in the Bills Dolphin game at 53 and a half.
Yeah.
The now divisional unders have been 9-1 this season, so the under for divisional games have been money. But this is one where you got Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, Legion of Zoom. This is going to be a high scoring game for sure.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I'm excited for this game because like we said before, this is going to be, are the Dolphins a real team? Can they do it consistently? The Bills have owned us since Josh Allen has been there. I think they've won 7 straight against us, but the Bills are going to carve up our defense. I think still Byron Jones is going to be back after week 4. The defense hasn't looked great so far. Defensive line isn't generating a lot of pressure, so that's not very good. But so the Bills are going to score. I know that they're going to score. It's just whether the Dolphins offense can keep up. I think they're going to be able to. I think 53 and a half is a high number. I'm a little worrisome, but as someone who wants the Dolphins to just start scoring a shit ton of points, over all the way. Okay. Let me see. I got my over, my money line. I got my okay. I'll go with my spread dog. I'll go Steelers plus 5.5. Oh fuck, no, wait, I can't take from the same game. I did this last week too. Okay. Oh, I fucked myself. Okay, let me see. So I got that one, that one, that one. I need my under. I'm gonna go under 49.5 KC Indy. The Colts didn't score any points last week. I think that's as simple as I can say it. I think the Colts suck. I like this Chiefs team. I like this Chiefs defense a lot too, actually. They've been looking good. Yeah, KC's going to score their points. I still do like the Colts defense, and if it can hold Pat Mahomes to a 28 point game, I don't see the Colts getting 20 points. So, yeah, under 49.5 KC Indy.
Yeah, I don't see the Colts just put up 0 points. So I don't see how, 49 and a half, way too high of a number. I don't see them coming anywhere close. I could definitely see it being like a 30-10 type of game, 31-10, something like along those lines. All right, so for my last pick, now this is going to be my money line dog. I'm going to have to go with the Cardinals at home. See, the thing is with NFC West games is they're really weird, and ever since Kyler Murray got there when he was drafted, they didn't win much games. I think they might have won 4 or 5 games his rookie year, and they still beat the 49ers who went to the Super Bowl. And I think they might have beat the Rams and the Seahawks that year too. Like the NFC West is just it's just weird. Every game is just it just gets real weird. So
Yeah.
I think I'll take them. I don't think they're a great team. I don't think that the Rams are a great team as of right now as well. But as the home underdog, I'll just go with them with the money line.
Yeah, I can't. I think it's a tough pick. I think, like you said, NFC West games are all over the place. So yeah, can the Cardinals beat the Rams from the Rams team I've seen at this point? Probably, but we shall see. Now I gotta find. Actually, no. Yeah, I found the game that I like. Monday Night Football, Cowboys versus the Giants. I'll take Cowboys plus 2.5. I get this Giants team has been uh surprising so far. They are 2-0. Haven't played anyone. So this Cowboys team has a really good fucking defense, and hopefully Zeke and Pollard can do enough to, I mean, do what they did against the Bengals, who the Bengals should be a better team than the Giants, right? But at this point, they're not. Yeah, Cowboys plus 2.5. Hopefully, Micah Parsons does what he's been doing because he's been looking like the defensive player of the year so far. But I'll take the Cowboys. I don't really like it, but I'll do it.
Brian Burns had 2 sacks against the Giants, and Micah Parsons is obviously a step ahead of him in terms of pass rushing. That offensive line is improved. It's still not great. Once you rely on a 56-yard field goal to win a game at home against the Panthers, as much as you would like to be optimistic for starting the season 2-0, they're still not a very good football team.
Nope.
Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones, and they'll force turnovers for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so to recap, you had Bengals minus 4.5, Commanders plus 7, over 53.5, Bills Dolphins, under 38.5, Browns Steelers, and Cardinals money line. I had Ravens minus 3, Cowboys plus 2.5, over 40.5, Bears Texans, under 49.5, KC Indy, and Packers money line. Well, I guess that'll do it. Moub, thank you so much. This has been great. You are welcome back anytime, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That'll do it for another episode of the Cover Zero podcast. I'm excited going into this weekend. I think this is where the Dolphins see where they are, where they stack up. Should be fun. The Bills scare the absolute shit out of me, as they should any Dolphins fan. They've looked unstoppable so far. Hopefully Tua can string together 2 good games. That's what I want to see. I want to see consistency from this team. Also, if you were watching on video, I mean, even if you were listening, if you heard any bumping and rattling around, there's been a fly that's been attracted to my webcam camera the entire time. So I've been trying to kill it for the entire episode. I think I got it finally at this point, but there seems to be another one. So yeah, I guess that's it. Until next time, do all that fun stuff. Like, comment, share, subscribe, retweet, follow, all that stuff. And until next time, peace.